Hello, my name is Jacqueline Hernandez. I'm part of Dr. Scott MIS 4478 class. My team members' names are Francisco Corona and Habu. We're going to be talking about Barney's resource-based view of the first model.
The resource-based view argues that firms possess resources, a subset of which enable them to achieve competitive advantage, and a subset of those that lead to superior long-term performance. Resources that are valuable and rare can lead to the creation of competitive advantage. The advantage can be sustained over longer time periods to the extent that the firm is able to protect against resource limitation, transfer, or substitution. In general, empirical studies using the theory have strongly supported the resource-based view. The concept of resource-based view was first introduced in the 1950s. However, in 1984, an economist named Winnefeld wrote a paper called A Resource-Based View of the Firm. In his article, he argued that the optimal comparative strategies are based on the resources and described how current resources can be used to develop new ones. The concept of resource-based view of the firm have changed since it was first introduced. Nowadays, most people consider J. Barney as the father of the modern resource-based view of the firm. He is currently a presidential professor of strategic management and chair of social entrepreneurship at University of Utah. His theory suggests that there can be a firm level differences among firms that allow some of them to sustain competitive advantage. VRIN stands for valuable, rare, imperfectly limitable, and non-substitutable. Valuable resources when they enable a firm to conceive or implement strategies that improve its efficiency or effectiveness. Rare valuable resources possessed by large numbers of competing firms cannot be sources of either a comparative advantage or a sustainable comparative advantage. Imperfectly limitable because of a combination of these reasons, unique historical conditions, casually ambiguous social complex, non-substitutable. There must not be a strategically equivalent valuable resources that are themselves either not rare or limitable.
Now I'm going to talk about other strategies that are also used to gain competitive advantage. These include patents, properties, proprietary technologies, or relationships. For example, the Indonesian government hopes to implement one of the largest ever example of compulsory licenses, which will enable the generic manufacture of drugs still under patents. VRIN resources are very difficult to find. Now I'm gonna discuss the approaches of efficiency. There are a lot of different ways a firm can achieve efficiency. Some of these are reengineering, enterprise systems, and downsizing. Reengineering consists on starting over and reinventing the way a firm or a business process gets its work done. Enterprise systems are large-scale application software packages that support business process, information flows, and reporting. Downsizing consists on dismiss or lay off from work. Finally, we have to remember that the VRIN resources does not produce long-term competitive advantage.
Now, let us look at the recent developments on resource-based view. In the next couple of slides, we will be discussing the dynamic capabilities perspective, factors that contribute to the DCP, and the main goal of DCP, which is sustaining a competitive advantage. The dynamic capability perspective is simply an upgraded extension of the resource-based view. A criticism of the RBV is that it has ignored how resources are developed, how they are integrated within a firm, and how the resources are put into effect. The DCP minimizes these gaps by implementing a process approach, acting as a buffer between the resources and a constantly evolving business environment. The dynamic capabilities perspective emphasizes strong resource development and resource renewal. Now let us look at some factors of the dynamic capabilities perspective. These factors fall into three clusters of activities and adjustments. 1. Identification and assessment of an opportunity, which is also known as sensing. 2. Mobilization of resources to address an opportunity, which is also known as seizing. And 3. Continued renewal, which is known as transforming. These activities are required if a firm is going to sustain any type of competitive advantage in the long run. Now, let us look in greater detail at the three clusters of activities and adjustments. Sensing can be classified as an entrepreneurial set of capabilities that seek technological opportunities. Seizing can be classified as designing business models to satisfy customers and capture value. And finally, transforming can be seen as radical new opportunities that are to be addressed to the firm or the customer. For example, Apple has done a phenomenal job at implementing all three clusters in their business environment. They have revolutionized the music and technology industry, which in return has given them an incredible competitive advantage over their competitors. Ultimately, the main goal of the dynamic capabilities perspective is to help firms maintain or seek a competitive advantage over its competitors. The importance of inimitability is in high demand. You don't want other firms to copy or imitate any aspect that your firm has worked so hard for to capture a market. It is imperative to keep asymmetries of a firm or organization behind closed doors if one is to fully develop an effective, sustainable competitive advantage structure. I want to thank you guys for listening to our presentation today. Thank you.